So we're going to start with multiplying decimals. This is chapter 3, lesson 3 on page 193. We don't need our books open yet. So I'm going to come back to the slide where we're going to learn our rule. But first, we're going to look at an example. So if we were looking at this one, we might have 4.9 plus 4.9. How else can I rewrite that problem? Madison?
4.9 times 2.
Excellent. So I can rewrite that problem as 4.9 times 2. Now we have a problem because there's a decimal there. Now we want to get rid of that decimal. So when we're multiplying, it's kind of difficult to do with the decimal. So one thing I like to do is pretend that decimal is not there. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to line up my problems the same way that I normally do, except because we're multiplying, I'm going to line it up like that. That looks a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That looks a little bit different. But for multiplying, that's what we're going to do. And what we're going to do in addition is we're going to, I believe the book calls it annex, but we're just going to move this decimal over one place. Oops, what is it doing? I'm just trying to do normal stuff. We're going to move it over. How many times did I move that decimal over? Once. So I moved it over once. Now, we're going to ignore that decimal. And we are just going to multiply like normal. What's 2 times 9? Roman? 18. So I put an 8 here and a 1 here. What's 2 times 4, Lily?
8.
What do I do?
Oh, you add the 1.
So it becomes a
9.
9. Now, do we think it's accurate that 4.9 times 2 is 98? No. But what might we be able to do to fix that? Malia? Yes, we're going to put that decimal point between the 9 and the 8. And the reason we do it is we moved it over once. So now we're going to move it back once. Exactly. So on that previous slide, multiply decimals, the rule is move all decimals to the right, solve, then put the decimals back. Okay, then put the decimals back that many places. So once again, that's our only rule when dealing with multiplying decimals. So far, our rules have been pretty easy. Make sure you're copying this down, you guys. Perfect. So far, our rules have been pretty easy. Let's look at one more example. Has everyone finished copying? Okay, I'm going to give us one more second. Rafi, do you need to move your seat up? Okay, I'm going on. So let's look at this another example. Okay? In this case, I'm going to just, I'm actually going to write 0.95 times 4. I want you guys to all set it up on your paper normally. Did you set it up properly? So Matthew, how do you set that up?
Well, I put 0.95. And under 4, I put, under 5, I put 4.
Perfect. Just like that. Exactly. Then how many times do I have to move my decimal over? Hannah? Twice. Once, twice. And I like to write myself a little reminder in the corner so that I make sure to put it back that many times. My reminder could also be my hops on the paper. My reminder could also be just using estimation and judging, is it a good answer? Now let's see. What's 4 times 5? What's 4 times 5, Nathan?
20.
What's 4 times 9?
36.
So what do I do?
You add them to
Perfect. And there's nothing else there, so it doesn't matter. Exactly. There we go. Because it's a 0. So where do I put my decimal point? Where do I put it?
in between the 3 and the 8.
Perfect. So I'm going to put my decimal point back there because that's 1, 2. And so my answer is 3.8. Excellent. So now I want you guys to open to page 195. And you guys are going to do, for practice, one of the following. You get to choose. You get to practice D, E, or F. Let's look at E. So we're going to line up this problem. Who wants to line this problem up for me? Hannah. How do I do it?
What you would do is you would put the 0.12 on the top.
Perfect. 0.12.
You would move the decimal point twice.
Excellent.
I crossed out the 0.
Yeah, 0 doesn't matter. And where does that 8 go?
You would put it underneath the 2.
Perfect. Oops, I chose a different color blue. Excellent. And we're multiplying. So we moved it over a total of 2 times. So I like to remind myself of that. Now, what's 8 times 2? 8 times 2, Romario.
16.
Yes. What's 8 times 1, Raphael?
8.
Perfect. Plus that 1? 9. Does that make sense? 0.12 times 8 is 96. Does that make sense? No. But how many times do we move the decimal point back? What do we do, Elsie?
We moved it
2 times, so we put it 1, 2. So we get our answer to be 0.96. Excellent. We're going to look at example F now. So in F, which number do you guys want to be on top? The 11 or the 0.045? Lily.
The 0.0.
That's what you guys want to be on top of? Okay. So 0.045. And under that 45, I write 11. Because we always keep everything to the right. Now we got to move our decimals over. How many times do we move our decimal place over, Lily?
3 times.
3 whole times. 3 whole times. Excellent. Now, this one is super easy. What's 1 times 5?
5.
Roman.
5.
5. What's 1 times 4?
4.
Do we need to go any further? No. What about here? What do I put here? My magic 0. You guys, I like my little smiley face. Then, I know this is really hard, you guys. What's 1 times 5?
5.
What do we get? 5. I know, super hard. What's 1 times 1 or 1 times 4? Matthew?
4.
Yes. Perfect. Now, we need to add these numbers. Sadly, let's see if I don't think it'll let me scroll up. It just lets me zoom in. I don't like this. Hold on. We get 45 plus 450. What's 45 plus 450, Hannah?
45 plus 450 is 495.
Perfect, 495. But where do we move that decimal point back to? Where do we move that decimal point back to? I want to see new hands, new hands, new hands. Do I see any new hands? I still don't see new hands. That doesn't mean change your hand from right to left. Let's see. Yes, Ben. 3 times. Although I like your tenacity. So we move it back. 1, 2, 3. So our answer is 0.495. Does everybody agree with me so far?
Yeah.
Excellent. We're going to look over D really quick. I'm just going to do it for you because it's that easy. Here, I'm going to put the 3. Here, I've got the 0.02. I put the 0.02 on the bottom because it doesn't matter. 1, 2. We move it over 2 times. Then, what's 2 times 3? 6. That's all I need to do. So how many times do I put the decimal back? What do I do?
You put the decimal back
2 times. So what does that look like? That? Is that done? No, I put it back 1 more time. So I have to put a 0 here. And so my answer is 0.06. Let's look at the first one and we'll do this first one together. 2.7 times 6. So I'm going to demonstrate it on the board. You can look up top. So here we've got 2.7 times 6. I'm going to bring my decimal point over 1 time. So at the end, I'm going to bring it back 1 time. Sometimes I like to do that as a little example. You guys see it? It's kind of light. It's pink. I'll make it purple. Excellent. Then, what's 6 times 7? What's 6 times 7? Fernando. Perfect. So we put a 2 down here and our 4 at the top. What's 6 times 2? What's 6 times 2? 6 times 7 was harder. What's 6 times 2? Elsie.
It's small, but with 4, it's more 16.
Excellent. 16. And because I was smart, I already moved my decimal back to begin with. So our answer is going to be, yes, 16.2. Excellent. I want you guys to work on the rest of the problems for guided practice. You have to work on 3 additional guided practice problems. The 3 problems can be any problems 2 through 8. Pick 3 problems 2 through 8. So I'm going to show a great question that we had to the class. What number was that? Number 5? Or number 2 on here? Number 2. So if we look at number 2 on the guided practice, we see it 0.52 times 3. And now Jaden did a great job, but he followed one of our old rules. So when he set this up, he set it up as 3.00 times 0.52. Now, with multiplying, do we need to line up the decimals? No. That is only with what? We only line up the decimals when we do what, Elsie?
Subtract and add.
Yes, when we subtract and add. So how should we write this problem? How should we write this problem? Elsie again.
52 hundredths is on the top, and 3 is on the bottom under the 2.
Excellent. We just line it up like normal. We ignore the decimal points because we're going to bring them over and we're going to put them back.